Alrighty, we are live from Columbus, OH. Make the O, trying to make the O there, but it always looks like an A or something. But it's OH from Columbus, and was not ready for my audio to kick in. But we do have the audio working nicely at a good volume today. So let's get started. This is not the Ramsey Show After Show. That's my show that I do after the Ramsey Show when I'm not working at that particular time. But when I am working during that particular time, or it's the weekend, I will do Answering Your Financial Questions stream, and that's 8 p.m. Eastern Time, which you are watching right now. And upcoming streams are, of course, in the ticker below. Also, other plug information, I'll give that verbally at the end. So let's do it, and let's get ready. Let's loosen up and get ready for the questions today, because it's going to be a lot of people doing it wrong. And so let's go ahead and get one that happens right here. Get a little practice at it. Here we go. We press that button and
you're doing it wrong.
yep, a lot of people do it wrong, and so that is the way it goes. Alrighty. Oh, I am going to give... No, that's not what I wanted to do. There we go. Back to my page. Clicked on... Or I was on my page, but I clicked on one of my videos instead. But anyway, back to business here. Coach Steve Money. Ramsey Solutions Certified Financial Coach. You're watching this on youtube.com/CoachSteveMoney. And you see the live going on right now. For my financial content, you just scroll past the Oak Island and Skinwalker Ranch playlist, and you'll see the Ramsey Show After Show playlist, and the Answering Your Financial Questions playlist, and the music playlist that has 12 Ramsey adjacent songs in there. Do listen to them if you are so inclined. And those would include such hits as How to Do the Baby Steps Right. It includes a bunch of things people do incorrectly, like save more than $1,000 emergency fund, for example, or continuing to add to that while also paying off debt. No, you stop at 1,000 and you pay off your debt. So for questions, we go to reddit.com/r/Dave Ramsey, not run by Ramsey Solutions, run by fans. And let's go here. I previewed a couple of these, and so talk briefly about them. This one I might have done in its entirety. Small business owner, emergency fund, or line of credit. Okay, hey, guess what? As a business owner, you treat it the same way you do your household. If you have a business emergency, then you need to be able to take care of that with your business emergency fund, and that's called retained earnings, and it's earnings that you have made in your business and you retain them in your business. What just happened? That's weird. I didn't touch the fan and it went down to a lower level. Interesting. All right. Is it doing it again? No, I guess not. Just got a little quiet. Okay. Sorry about that. But yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to have that. And the line of credit thing, well, that's not involved. I don't give a crap if you have a business. You don't get a pass on the Ramsey advice because of business. That is not a good reason to go into debt. Neither is taking out student loans in hopes of making more money later. And it's so weird. It keeps getting louder and then quieter. Is it? No, it's not oscillating either. Okay, sorry to bother you with that. That's my problem. That is so weird. Oh, wait a second. I accidentally hit it. Yeah, it's on freaking economy mode. I don't even know what that actually does. All right, let's see. Where is that? Is that this one? No, that's the timer. We don't want that. 0, where is it? Oh, right there for settings. There we go. And we want full freaking blast. All right, okay. That's weird. I don't know how. Oh, maybe when I moved it a little bit. All right, back to the small business owner emergency fund or line of credit. I don't care if you have a business or not. When you start the baby steps, part of baby step 0 is you decide you're going to pay off your dumbass debt and you're not going to take out any more dumbass debt. You're not justified because you're doing it for a business. That's a no, 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 no. And you would not start a business that takes significant amount of money to start. You would not start that in step 2. You would wait until step 4, and after you have saved up the actual cash to start that high dollar startup cost of the business. And that's what we call doing things smarter. And so you don't run into debt problems. You don't run into debt problems if you don't have debt, kids. And so that's going to be a no, so it doesn't matter what the rest of is written here. Doesn't matter. I think I read it before, though. 401k advice is a long one. I think I read this one, too, in full. HR person involved is being... Okay, so... either the husband lost 2 jobs due to a BS reason. And, one time, okay, maybe I'll give you the benefit of the doubt on. It happens twice, you're the problem. Or it was one time each for husband and wife. I don't actually remember what it was, but you would not be investing anyway. This is about, I think, a rollover, like a 401k at a previous job for the husband. And you can roll it over and convert it to a Roth, but you should not be doing that. You can leave it right there until you get in a better financial situation. You leave it right there in that same company and it still will grow. The investments in it still will grow at the same rate. So obviously the advice would be to maybe eventually get it into your, you can roll it to your new 401k. You can do that, and that's not a tax hit because it stays in 401k status. So you could do that, or roll it to an IRA, and that would still be where you don't pay taxes on the contributions. So when you roll it to something, you don't have to pay contributions on it either. When you roll it to the same thing. But if you roll it over to a Roth, you would have to pay taxes on it. And the beauty of the Roth, and why Mr. Ramsey and myself, of course, recommend the Roth is because you do not pay taxes in retirement. And wouldn't that, you know what 2 things help in retirement? You not having to pay taxes on your gains in your retirement account, and also not having a freaking mortgage payment, which is why the advice is you only invest 15% of gross household income to retirement instead of investing more and not paying the house off early, or having some other kind of dumb investment that may or may not be more than sometimes the math works out for the math pros and they actually make a little bit more in interest than they're paying on the house. That's still not the advice, because the advice is you don't need that particular investment in retirement. You do need somewhere to live in retirement. And how about if we could live there without having to pay rent or mortgage payment? Wouldn't that help immensely? I'll help you out. The answer is yes, it would. That would be great. Thanks to whoever's watching now and whoever watches later after the fact when it's not live. Speaking of live, like I need another excuse to play The Last of Us Part 2 again, my favorite video game. They just put out a new patch for it. It's free, and there's a lot of back and forth time switches and flashbacks and so forth, and they put out a free update that improves graphics and gameplay and other stuff, but it also gives a new chronological mode, and so I can't wait to play that. That will be fun. I already have it in my head chronologically because I know all the stuff that happens, but it would be neat to see it. And even if they do split screen on the cutscenes that happen right at the same time, that would be fabulous as well. But I'm not holding my breath on that. So I may start that playthrough tonight and play maybe 2 or 3 hours. But I am getting up early in the morning to watch the Ramsey show and to do an after show tomorrow morning. And I'm working in the evening. Own Yam 1159, and let me tell you, kids, this work thing is really cutting into my goofing off schedule and my streaming schedule, if you might imagine. Own Yam 1159, 5-year house plan. Well, that's interesting that it's 5 years, because that could mean that you could use the market as a piggy bank. If you have a 5-year time period before you're going to buy the house, you could put your money in the market, because that is the Ramsey advice. If it's less than 5 years, the market has much more probability of it being down right when you want to use the money. After any 5-year period, though, it's generally going to be at least even, if not up. Let's see. So I'm planning on moving in the next 8 months, and I'm going to buy a house. So that's a no. Well, how's this 5 years then? I will probably only stay in this house for 5 years max before I build a house, whether that is in the same location or a different spot. My original plan was to do a 15-year mortgage, 15-year fixture rate, means fixed rate. That's the type of mortgage, instead of adjustable rate mortgage, and fixed rate is the Ramsey advice. And to do a 15-year, guess what? If you have to do a 30-year so you can afford the payment, or you need the flexibility, that means you're buying too much house and you cannot afford that much house. Sorry. Not really sorry. You don't make enough money. Tough crap. And that's what we call seeing reality and embracing it. You don't make enough money for that. Well, but I want it anyway. Well, you can do dumb stuff and get in trouble financially, and the baby steps and the Ramsey advice will still be here when that happens to you. But yeah, you don't do a house thing temporarily. That's not what you do. The same advice goes for military. Obviously, thanks all of you military for your service. Much appreciated. Speaking as one that has never done that, and probably wouldn't fare too well if I tried to do that, even back in the day when I was younger. But much appreciated. But the advice for you guys is you do not buy a house unless you're going to be stationed somewhere that you will not be moved from. If you can be moved, and that would be most people, I would think, maybe your 5-star generals probably could buy a house near DC in the DMV, Delaware, Maryland, Virginia, or DC proper, and they'd be fine, the 5-star general, but the rest of you people in the military, they can send you wherever they want to at any time. Let's see. Was that the same location or a different spot? My original plan was to do a 15. Oh, I already read that. In order to make the mortgage less than 15 years. That's the advice. No matter if you're going to stay there forever, if you call it your forever home, that never works like that either. That's insane to say that anything is forever, because needs change and wants change. Would it be like, for example, you might need a bigger house when you're 30 and have kids living there, but guess what? You don't need 2 or 3 extra bedrooms if you're in retirement and it's just 2 of you there, do you? No, you don't. So you might want to downgrade in housing at that point. Would it be wise, if I'm planning on moving within the 5 years, to invest as much as possible into the house? No, don't buy a house. You keep renting. Or put as little into the house and just make payments on a 30 year note. No, the advice is, and this happens a lot on the Ramsey show, it's not option A or option B that the dumbass caller has, or or maybe let's be a little let's try to be a kinder, gentler Coach Steve Money today, and let's say the caller with not enough foresight, lacking in the foresight, lacking in the coming up with other options that might be better. Dave has sometimes a third option and sometimes even a fourth option for them that they never think about because they paint themselves in a corner. I'm bad at painting too, in addition to being in the military, almost certainly. But I'm planning on putting 20% down regardless to avoid PMI. And no, so I would not do that. And so if you don't do that, then guess what? You can invest all that money in the market if you are on step 3B. But first, you have to have no non-mortgage debt. And you also have to have your full emergency fund before you save 1 penny in the down payment, which is step 3B here. It's not written here, but that is where it happens after steps 1, 2, and 3 are completed one at a time without even thinking about higher steps. So that means you're not even thinking about investing while you're on step 1. And then when that's done, while you're on step 2, nope, no need to think about it until you're going to do it, until you get close to doing it. Fine, once you start step 3, you can start thinking about it a little bit and doing research and trying to find out how to find managed mutual funds that beat the index. A lot of people think they don't exist. They are, again, lacking knowledge and lacking insight. And, previously I would just call them dumbasses. And I feel fine doing that in general because I was a dumbass in most respects of finances at one time. And so that's why I can easily recognize it. So you would not do that being in the military or because you're only going to live in a house 5 years. Do not do that. That's the absolute minimum time that you would live there for the Ramsey advice anyway, but since it's only going to be exactly 5 years and that is your exact plan, and also who knows if that's going to happen, and likely what my boy here or young lady, whoever it is here, is thinking about is, I don't want to pay just rent, I want to build equity at the same time. And sure, and everything that goes wrong with the house that breaks in it, guess what? You own the house, you got to replace whatever's there. So it could end up costing you more than you make. Imagine that. So that's why you would rent and let somebody else handle those problemas, as they say in Spanish. En Espanol. In a financial hole, I ain't saying he a hole digger. What should I tackle first? If only there was a list of steps that you could follow. Let's see what's up with Cyan Zero Sis. SISS. I need help knowing what is best to do first and foremost. I make $26,000 a year. Where? I hope not anywhere in America. I hope in a third world country or something like that. My goodness gracious me. I make K a year after taxes and rent my home. I live in Missouri. Okay, that's in America. That doesn't seem like that's enough, my friend. So what you should tackle first is your lack of income, and that can be by working overtime in your job, working extra, or getting a second job and working extra, or getting a higher paying full-time job. Any and all are possible. I have 3 debts. Personal loan from my bank. I don't care about the amount at this point. Debt to internet provider. Around 300. Charges incorrect, so I've deferred it, and it was passed to another collection. Agents, it's in collections. Well, if it's in collections, you can let it sit until you are done paying off the other debts. And a finance car, 10,000 still left to go. 3-year plan. That's a no on that one, because if you're going to pay that off in 3 years, you have 3 years to pay off all of your non-mortgage debt. Or that's when you start to sell things, like this dumbass car. Excuse me, what are we saying? Trying to say now? Lack of foresight. Or lack of not financial knowledge, or whatever you say. I will admit I've made some very poor decisions. We all do. Specifically with the finance car, yes, you do. So when you buy the dumbass finance car, and then later when you realize, oh, that was a mistake, the debt was a mistake, my finances suck, I don't make that much money, let me see what Mr. Ramsey has to say about life and stuff, and you find the steps here. What you do, not only do you follow the baby steps to fix your finances, but see where it says step 2 right there? Instead of paying off the car, you can sell that car and you can buy a much cheaper car cash. And that not only gets rid of that high payment, that also gets rid of most of that amount of debt. Now, even if you have to, say, borrow $5,000 to get out from underwater of it, that still cuts your amount in half. If you can borrow $5,000 and get out of it, and also buy a beater car, a very cheap car. And so, but people don't ever want to do that. They want to stick to their car that they bought, because they're still thinking, like, when they finance it, oh, I need a new car. Let's see. I had no, specifically with the finance car, I had no emergency funds. My old car's CVT transmission died immediately after I purchased its tags and new tires. Well, you could take those new tires off of it, and you could transfer the tags. And my old employer told me they wouldn't be allowing me a day off to figure out my situation. It was a desperate, frantic time, yeah, and that's when a lot of people go just run to the debt to fix everything. It didn't seem like it fixed it, though, did it? I'm not on baby step 1, and to make matters worse, my lease is up in 10 months. I probably need new tires soon for this car, too. Why didn't you keep the tires from the old car? Did you sell the, what was it, the trans? What happened? Yeah, transmission. Did you sell the vehicle for the same amount you could have sold it with old tires on it? So you could have switched out the tires. I mean, they got to be the same size and stuff like that, but you could have done something, sold the new tires separately, something like that. But no, you were trying, because of your work situation, you were trying to fix everything. Now, I believe in most full-time situations, one has generally 2 days off a week. So why can't you fix it during the 2 days and you just figure out some way to get to work? Even if you got an Uber for just during that week, why not? But no, people love to go to the debt and go ahead and fix that problem. They don't think outside the box about ways to do it, because it's less convenient than just running the debt to fix the problem. So my question is, where do I start? What can I do to get myself out of the situation? You can sell the car. Hopefully it's not underwater. Then you don't have to borrow any money, except maybe $2,000 to buy a new car, a new to you car, a used one, and have a mechanic check it out before you buy a used car. Leave the dealer out of it because that's going to screw you over as far as money. Guess what? Dealers, you know what? They like money just as much as the rest of us. And so they're not there to help you out of this car situation. They are there to make money. So whether you are buying from them or selling to them or trading in, they are going to make money on that transaction. And that's in addition to any money they would make on you buying a car there. So they're going to give you less for it than a private seller or private buyer would. So you buy and sell privately. Leave the dealership out of it. But again, that takes a little more effort, and people are lazy as crap, and they do not want to do that. So you would start with step 0. Make sure you have all the 4 walls in place, the housing, which you do. You got 10 months to work on that, so that's not an immediate. Transportation, and you have the car you're still financing right now, but try to change that over. Food and clothing. Generally, a man doesn't need to buy an article of clothing every week. Generally, and you could probably, I'm trying to think, I bought new shoes for the first time in probably 2 years this past week. I'm trying to think the last shirt I bought. I can't even remember. My kids usually give me some kind of shirt or something Christmas time. Other than that, I mean, I have clothes that I still wear that are in good shape, that are 10, 15 years old. So, I mean, ladies, they tend to be more about I gotta have a new something. Not all of them. You don't want to paint with a broad brush, doing the show me paint fence Karate Kid stuff. I don't want to paint with a broad brush, but that's just in general. There are some guys that do love to go clothes shopping and because they want to look really good. I know that that's not going to help in my situation. So, yeah, but so that's the 4 walls: transportation, clothing, and again, that's if you don't have anything or everything you have has holes in it, that kind of thing. Fine, go buy a couple of shirts, but then you're done for months and months and months. And I got sidetracked again. What was that? Food and shelter. So you got to have those in place. Another part of step 0. That's part of step 0. Another part of step 0, making sure you have insurances in place, like the car insurance. That should be happening. Health insurance. Life insurance if you have anybody depending on your income. There's a bunch of things. Google it, kids. Google baby step 0 and you'll see all the things that are in there. And I thought recently, as I was looking at such list, it does not have on there get a job or a second job to make more money. And that also applies to you as well with the $26,000 take-home pay. Even in Missouri, as the old say, or people living there maybe as well. Even in Missouri, 26 doesn't go a long way. And so then after you take care of all the baby step 0 stuff, guess where you are? You won't believe this. You're on baby step 1. So you do step 1, 2, and 3 one at a time. Again, without even thinking about higher steps. Don't even think about them. Concentrate on the one you're on, because people love to plan out the whole thing. And that's why people always finish the baby steps faster than they project, because them planning out the whole thing did not help at all. And now I don't mind you looking ahead, but if there's anything you can be doing that will take care of step 1 while you're on step 1, do that instead of thinking about step 2 or step 4, looking in advance to investing. and trying to find all about that. I don't mind you doing that, but you don't want to take the focus away from the baby step that you're on. All right. So yeah, that's how you get out of the situation. And people have used it to get out of worse situations than yours. How did I open that into different tabs? I don't know. But no, but people have definitely had worse situations than that. Maybe not with the limited income you have. So again, that's what you need to be doing: more working and less thinking about stuff, even about doing the baby steps, because that'll happen. You just need to concentrate on one at a time and put full gazelle intensity on it, and before you know it, you will have the $1,000. And as I said, selling the car, that can relocate your finances, because step 2 should take 3 years at maximum. And if it takes more than that, that's when you sell houses or move down in housing. If you're renting apartment, you look for a cheaper one. If you have a house that's too much money, you move down in house to a lower one. And you would use the equity that you get from the sale, perhaps to help you apply that to whatever baby step you're on at the time. So yeah, you undo, and people don't ever think of this because they just think they are stuck with the stuff they have. Actually, it's more like they want to keep the stuff they have, like the too expensive house. That shouldn't even be bought in until step 3B, which is save the down payment. So if you have a lot of people do have non-mortgage debt and they buy a house, and that's not the advice either. So you undo the dumb stuff, like in this person's example, it's 10,000 now, so no telling what it was when the person bought it. But yeah, you could sell that car and get a beater instead, and that will help you get your time frame payment. And if you make more money, it'll also speed up the baby steps as well, so you can get step 2 done in 3 years. Zarvanel. Okay, maybe a Krypton name there. Saw Superman today with my son. It was excellent. Highly recommend. Should I sell my apartment and pay off my mortgage? What you talking about, Willis? Let's see which one is being lived in and which one is a rental property. I'm guessing, and that's going to be a no while you still have a rental. While you still have a mortgage on something. You do not get a rental property to make money off of with a mortgage. That is debt leverage, and that is a NAR from Mr. Ramsey. The only mortgage you should have should be on the property that you live in, and you don't buy one, you don't have rental properties until that bad boy is paid off and you're in step 7. That's the advice, dog. I have bought an old house, which I later renovated and spent 150k euros on it. On that, all cash. Okay, that part is great. But having the mortgage, that's a no. Unless you're living in it. Let's see. My mortgage for the house is 180k, and I have 28 more years to pay it at around 6% interest rate. So that's a no. So if you can't refinance to that 15% fixed rate mortgage, if you can't do that because the payment's too high, guess what? You bought too much house and you need to sell it. Undoing the dumb crap you did before you found the advice, not just taking years and years and years and years and years and years and years to pay it all off. No, no, and more no. You undo the dumb stuff you did. I also have 2 apartments I bought roughly 3 years ago, all in cash. Okay, cash is the magic word. But you have the mortgage still, so that's a no. You would not buy properties to rent out while you still have a freaking mortgage. That is debt leverage, my friend. Mr. Ramsey is not only the no debt guy, he is the no debt leverage guy. So that's a no. Business stuff should be done 100% in cash, like you did apparently with everything else except for your home mortgage. So that's not a way to get around the debt leverage rule, is to keep your house mortgage, since you can't get one on rental properties, per Ramsey advice. That's not a way to get around that. We're too smart for you on that. Which I planned to rent out, but never had the money to furnish them. Well, that was dumb as crap to buy them in the first place then. And now with my mortgage, it doesn't really make sense to spend money on them, as the ROI will be low compared to paying the mortgage ASAP to get rid of the interest. Imagine that. Imagine that you had done that before instead of the dumb crap you have. People always want to debt leverage to try to make money off of it. But then guess what? They're dumb. They didn't know enough about the business, about doing this stuff, without realizing. I mean, hopefully you looked at the apartments before you bought them. And when you go into an apartment to buy them, you got to look at it as, oh, before I can rent it, I need to fix this, this, and this will cost this much. Why didn't you do that? You know, you're a financial bro in doing the debt leverage part of it, but you're not a financial bro. You're not looking at the numbers at all in this case. You're nutty, dude. Or madam. It could be a young lady. There's lady financial bros. Financial sisters, maybe. These two are valued properly, 120K plus 150K. Okay. So that's 270K. Currently, the taxes and property mortgage is around 150 month with them, just staying empty. Yeah, so that's a no on that. You would do that and pay off the mortgage for the house is 180. So yeah, you would take that 270 that you get from selling both of them, and you pay off the house, and you keep some of the cash for the full emergency fund if you don't have that. So again, what you do here is you don't just follow the steps and pay off every little dumb piece of crap you've bought in back in the day before you found Ramsey. You actually undo the dumb stuff that you did before you found out it was dumb stuff. And some people read this list and watch the Ramsey show, and they don't realize somehow that they got a blind spot. They can't hear that part or something of the show, or read that part in an article on the website or something like that, or in the books. They can't read that part because they did it before, and they think it's some kind of exception to the rule, and that's a nar. So yeah, you would sell them today and pay that off. Pay off your home mortgage. And you didn't tell us the complete. Let me open the rest of it because there's a little bit more. Household income of 100K net. Yeah. That I'm going to go ahead and say, for me, I don't know that that's enough to be playing around with rental properties. Definitely not playing around with rental properties while you still have a mortgage. Get to step 7, and then it's a whole different story. I was thinking it might be a good idea to sell one apartment. Both these 2 apartments have been theoretically my retirement plan. I don't give a crap. That was a dumbass idea. And see, that's what people love to do. They love to hold on to their dumbness from previous times. And that is not the advice. I could also go hardcore for 1 to 2, 3 years and heavily save to pay off the house. You would not freaking save. That's dumb too. Please start thinking, better as far as finances are concerned. You don't save up and then pay off the freaking house. You pay it off as soon as you get the money. You don't save up a lump sum and then pay the house off once you can pay it fully off. No, you send them each additional dollar you can and put it towards the principal as soon as you can. I don't which method would be the best long term. You forgot the word know there, and you don't know anything about this stuff apparently. So, and maybe because it's, in Europe, you can't get a pass on it for being in Europe either. And that is, though, Europe would be more commonly a place where you would buy an apartment instead of owning the entire apartment building. 38 years software developer in Europe, a bit afraid AI might take my job at some point. Okay, well, we don't do anything based on that. If you don't like that, start looking for a new career, start looking for a new job. Until then, work your ass off, sell the properties. So if you're worried about that, then you definitely don't want to have that debt out there on your resident. So you sell the dumb ass cash apartments that you bought with cash. You weren't worried about losing your job to AI when you bought them, were you? No, you weren't. Because you were thinking about your little plan in retirement. You need to quit about thinking about your little plans and go with one. Oh, I know. Let's do one that has worked for millions of documented times. And, if you're wondering, it's just 2 million. No, Dave said, I think 20 million the other day. 20 million. Documented success stories following the baby steps. So good luck trying to have a better plan. Well, for me, no, it doesn't matter. This is the best steps for everybody to do. Now, a lot of them aren't willing to do it. And so that's that. They can continue to not do it. Diabetes 46. Yep. I can relate. Should I sell my car? Yeah, if it has payments on it, yeah. Or if it's too much, even if you pay cash for it, and if it's too much and it's going down in value too much, you can get a cheaper car. Especially if you have other goals with money, like, I don't know, step 2, step 3 even. Or steps 4, 5, and 6 if you're that far. So I have a car that I owe $35K on. Well, we can cut out step 3, 4, and 5, and 6 because you're not on them. You're on step 2, my friend. Congratulations. I owe $35K on, and it's worth $30K. I have a question. I just heard my fan again and thought about it again. Why would the economy level... I guess that's the only thing it can do. The only way it can be an economy level is to save money on electricity, is to blow out regular air. Like right now, I have it set for the top setting, which is 8. So blow out the highest amount of air for a couple seconds and then stop for a couple seconds. But like I said, even when that was on, it would just be quieter, but it felt like it was blowing out the same amount of air. So I'm going to investigate that because I don't want them making extra electric off of me. So I will investigate. Maybe I'll Google it. I definitely won't ask on a subreddit about that. So I have a car that I owe $35K on, and it's worth $30K. All right. I also have a paid off beater. Why do we have 2 cars, my friend? I'm making it by, but close to paycheck to paycheck. Yeah. Hey, I got a great idea. Is this car that's worth $30,000 and your paid off beater? So you would have to be making at least $60,000 to be able to run by justification station, at least as Mr. Ramsey is concerned, because your total amount in household vehicles, any kind of toys with a steering wheel and wheels and a motor on it, that all counts. Sea-Doos and her sisters, or something Dave used to say. All of that stuff, anything with that has a motor and wheels on it, or sailed, that has a motor in it, basically. Any of that is combined all together, and that amount of money all combined together, you need to be making twice that amount of money per year, or you cannot afford to have that much of things going down in value. So I do have a mortgage, but the car is the other debt. Okay, so the mortgage is step 6. That's not the step you're on. You're on step 2. Cars the other debt don't have piles of debt. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And again, that's the beauty of it. Your little situation doesn't change the baby steps, people. Okay, so guess what? If you had 800 different debts in step 2, the advice is the same for you as if you had your one piece of debt on step 2. It's the same advice. You pay that off as quickly as possible, and you do that before doing steps 3, steps 4, steps 5, step 6, step 7. You do not do those steps until that one debt is paid off. And that works the same for you as it does for everybody else. People always think they're special, or they'd like to think they are. They're not. I'd really just like to breathe a bit. Is it worth paying the $5,000 difference to get out of the payment? Yes. Or hold on to it and keep paying? No, don't do that. Sell it. I rarely drive it. It was kind of a shift from motorcycles for me, and I got it as a stupid, ridiculous toy. Sell it. Gone. Sold. Sell it today. Hopefully the person sold it. It's from 6 days ago. On the what? Monday. This past Monday. Throckmorton, 1975, replacing the car. What about it? Another car. People love their cars. I don't care about it. I just needed to get me, for example, from my apartment to the movie theater today, and then to a nice, lovely restaurant that I budgeted for. Took my son to a new Mexican place, and so we're trying to hit a bunch of Mexican places since I got back from the Arkansas, and it has been lovely. Also planning to see Fantastic Four, and then also go to dinner after that. Replacing car. Gonna replace our 2016 vehicle, 65K miles. That's great on miles. Because it's had some issues on the highway lately, and I make multiple 5-hour round trips a month. That is not fun. Why? And would it be worth it to move closer to where the trips take you? And can those 5-hour round trips be cut out? Is that something that is like a vacation, or are you going fishing or something like that? I got a great idea. Don't do that for a while. If it's something for work, of course, you might not be able to get out of that. But generally, they would pay for that as well. They would pay for your travel for that. I don't like having the nagging thought every time I take it out on the highway. What's going to go wrong this trip? Why is the highway different? Because you're going faster speeds? Let's see. It's a Chevy. I had a Chevy before. And I should never have strayed from our tried and true Toyotas. People love the Dodge, and I mean, not the Dodge. Is it Dodge? No. Yeah, Toyota and Honda, I think. Isn't it? Isn't that the two that people love? So we're going to replace it with a Toyota. Just need thoughts of going new or used. There's no new cars in your situation. You're full of it, my friend. I mean, I guess it's possible, but it doesn't. I feel like, for me, you're not on the baby step you would need to be in the financial position to buy a new car, and that would be you're a millionaire. Never bought a new car before, and now should not be the time, probably, but I'm not seeing the price difference that would prompt me to get a 2-3-year-old car or use a Rabbit instead of a new one. That's because you're not looking hard enough, probably. Because you don't want to, because you've already decided in your mind you want a new car. I get it. You know, the thing here is, when talking about this car stuff, again, especially with guys, but some ladies feel the same way about cars and love a new car, even if they have to finance it. But I think about them as something I love, which is like computers and tech stuff. I think about that. And I'm not here upgrading all the time my computer either. So I get it. And so I try to look at it in those terms, but I don't give a crap about if you have a car or not. I want your finances to be better. Let's see what else is up. Car we're keeping is a 211 Prius with 135 miles, but we need the second one that can also do some of these round trips. Again, doesn't specify what the round trips are for, and that's something I would probably cut out if possible. Our financial advisor said financing would be okay. Well, your financial advisor must not be Dave Ramsey. Why didn't you post on his subreddit instead of the Dave Ramsey subreddit? Why, if you bother to have a financial advisor, why do you have to check Reddit for that? Why would you have to look on the internet if you actually have a financial advisor? And people continue to be idiotic and continue to surprise me over and over again. I'm a little bit jaded. I don't know if you can tell. But I really don't trust people at all, especially with financial matters. I don't trust them because they just want too much. It's just like the same thing about, like, okay, well, our mortgage is 27% of our take home pay, and not 25. And I get the idea if it's 27. That might be close enough, but the problem is if I or Dave says, okay, 27 is okay, then all of a sudden you think, well, if 27 is okay, then 30 must be as well, 35 must be as well. So if you give an inch, people take a mile, and so people always want to do the dumb thing is basically the deal. And financial advisor is a dumbass as well, advising financing to customers. How can you invite? I mean, you make money for it, and you believe in, I guess, debt leverage for the financing, and so I guess that's how you can live with yourself doing that. Would be okay if we could get a 2 to 3% rate, but the cheapest possibility I see is 5%, so we'll probably pay cash. Great, and that's exactly how you should do it, and knock yourself out if you're a baby step or if any kind of millionaire. If you have $1 million net worth and you're going to pay cash, and you don't have any debt at all, knock yourself out doing it. I realize you'll be paying a bit of premium for increased peace of mind. Not to be stuck on the side of a highway during a sweltering Kansas summer or the freezing winter. So newer used Toyota, Prius Camry hybrid. We'd have to know more stuff about you. I don't have time to go through 42 comments to see if somebody else asked about it, but I would have to know. If you're on step 7 here, which means you have no debt at all, not on mortgage, not on other vehicles, not on a boat, not on a freaking rental property, not on anything, and you do have your 36 months of expenses. If you have a mortgage, I recommend 6 months. If you're investing the 15%, if you've addressed kid college, if that applies, and if you have paid off your mortgage. If you've done all that, you're in baby step 7, and if you pay out cash for it, knock yourself out. And also, I would get a new financial advisor, and not one that says financing is okay. What other dumb stuff have they told you that makes them more money with the investments? I would check investments or the other advice. I would double check on all that stuff because I don't trust him either or her. Drowse 89, investing in early age versus baby step order. Okay, so, I got this great idea. That it would be better to do things out of order on the baby steps. That's a no, and that's a no, and that's a no again. This is the best order to do things in. Again, for everybody, you're not special. You're not smart because you think you figured out a hack or some other bull crap. So that's a no and a no and a no again. I've been working through the baby step. There's more than one of them. Forgot the S there. Also forgot to be smart and just follow the baby steps instead of, I'm going to do investing and not the baby step order. Knock yourself out. Do it. But again, why not just do it? Why do you need to post on here and get validation or something like that? I don't know. Don't know why. I don't know why people do that, but I'm glad they do, of course, because content. For a few years, and I've reached the 15% investing stage a few months ago. Okay, so hey, guess what? When you start investing, the second you start on investing, and that should not be until step 4, guess what? You do 15% immediately. You don't gradually go up there. And if you were waiting, like maybe for increased salary and increased percentage of your income and maybe increased match as well, the match doesn't count towards the 15%. So you blew it on that one as well. So you shouldn't be starting lower than that and then going up higher to that. But if you are investing already and you're on step 1, 2, or 3, you stop investing completely. And you take care of steps 1, 2, and 3 before you restart investing. Only once you're on step 4. As a spreadsheet nerd with every transaction logged since this journey began, well, if you're that smart, you ought to be able to read the freaking baby steps and understand them. And I don't know what it is that keeps you from thinking that that's not the right thing to do and that you could possibly come up with a better idea. A rough investment calculator based on regular automated investments over X amount of years, and Dave's expected 10% annual return from an index fund. He does not say that the index funds will do that, but that is what SP 500 index fund does. But he says to invest in managed mutual funds that beat the freaking index. So you're wrong on that as well. And my God, do I wish I started investing a long time ago, way before baby step 4. Well, you're dumb because you shouldn't have. How I held compound interest, what I thought about early investing. I decided to set up a couple of junior index investment accounts called a junior ISA in the UK. It's the same as an index tracking fund. And again, that's not the Ramsey advice for investing. He does use a S&P 500 index fund for investing his real estate money that he does real estate purchases in. He invests that in the index fund. He has managed funds for all of his retirement stuff. And that's the same thing he recommends for all of us. He doesn't have different rules because he has way more money and because he's way smarter than the rest of us. He tells us to do the same thing that he does. But it cannot be withdrawn until the named child becomes 18. And they then take ownership of it and hopefully continue by investing some of their own income. You forgot the word of smarty. Love it when people think they're smart and they're dumb as crap. It is only 50 bloody quid a month for each child. Currently, and the amount can be increased, but the estimated value when they reach 18 is staggering. Yeah, but see, the issue is you would not be doing that dumbass crap until you paid off your mortgage. And we're in baby step 7. So again, if you're in baby step 7, knock yourself out. And if you're in baby step 7, why ask random people on the internet for advice? I get it if you call the Ramsey show, sure. I get it if you search for answers in Ramsey videos or on his website. I get that. Or even if it was perhaps another financial advisor that you like better than Mr. Ramsey. Sure, but to go on the Reddit and trying to get somebody to agree with you that it's better to do this than the baby step order, that's a no. Because that's debt leveraging is what it is. Post context. Does anyone else have a savings investment account for their children? Yes, people do have that. but hopefully they're on baby step 7, or it's baby step 5 there where they address kid college. So they might have in the United States, they might have a ESA, educational savings account, or a state 529 plan for that. And that is an investment account that is specifically for college for named child. What amount, and you can also transfer those to other family members if that particular child doesn't go to college, or best case scenario, gets a free ride, either shooting the hoop or whatever other sport, do something like that and play the foosball. And you'll see it's not for the devil, it's for your kid. And they can go to school for free. What amount are you putting in for them? Okay, how would the amount that they're putting in for their kids have anything to do with yours? You make a different money, you have a different job, you have different expenses. To try to be smart and outwit the baby steps, you sure are dumb. Should this amount be calculated, and probably should this amount be calculated as part of the baby step 4 15%? No, because that's not money for your children, it's for your retirement. Fine, if you don't need that money in your retirement or you die before you can use it all, they can inherit it, fine. But you, sir, no woman would be this stupid, I don't think. You're just dumb. You're just dumb. In step 4, it's for your retirement. It's not general investing. None of it is. You don't do any additional other than the baby step 4 15%. You don't do any of that until step 7, and we don't know even if you're on step 7. If you're not, you should not, again, don't even be thinking about it, because here's what happens when you do that. Instead of concentrate on the baby step you're on, you start thinking dumb crap like this. But even if you are on 7, this is a dumb but idea, lady, like Mr. Ramsey said. It was to an emailed question, but it's about should the parent wrote in and asked, should they try to build credit for their children? And yeah, he said that is a dumb but idea. Oh, and so you're just on baby step 4. So yeah, if you have a mortgage, that's a no. That's a no. And of course, you said versus baby step order. It's your money. Go ahead. Be free. Be free of the Ramsey turmoil. You don't have to compare your little plan, whatever other dumb crap you want to do, whatever way you think you're improving on the baby steps. You don't have to compare it to Dave's plan. And so people like to do that, though. I guess they want to feel superior to Dave or something, or think that they're smarter. Guess what? They're not. Until you have millions of documented success stories and 30 years in the financial advising game, you can't really compare yourself to Dave no matter what. So we can try that. Oh my goodness, 902. Baby steps adjusted for Europe. And I even went through I previewed this one the other day, where universities are free and there is a fair pension benefit in place, so there's close to no need for, say, well, if you can go to the universities for free, fine, but that doesn't mean student loans that get forgiven after 30 years. That's a different thing. If it's free, fine. If it's forgiven after 30 years, that's a no for taking that out. So I guess we'll be done with this question then, since I completely answered it. There's a fair pension benefit in place. No, it's not fair. It is not anywhere near what you can make in the market. So no, you still have to invest 15%. If you are contributing to that pension that you have to do, even America, unions and such, like teachers union has to do that. Public school teachers have to do that because some government workers have to contribute to their pension as part of their job. They absolutely have to. And that's part of what makes teachers in the top 3 lists of millionaires. But anyway, your pension amount, and I don't know if it's different in Europe, it might be worse in Europe, but in America, if you were putting, say, 15%, you're putting all 15% of your annual salary as a pension contribution every single year, guess what? The pension sucks compared to the market. So that would only count for half of the 15. So that means you would have to put in the 15 toward the pension benefit, the pension contributions, and also put an additional 7.5 in so that you reach the 15, because your pension benefit again only counts for half. So done with that question. Let's just, do you consider yourself financially literate? Yes, I do. And you can be too. There are plenty of people that have paid attention to the Ramsey show and read books and so forth that know just about, or even maybe even more than I do, about the Ramsey advice and finances in general, even though I am a certified Ramsey Solutions financial coach. And the people I'm thinking about, they could easily become one as well if they wanted to, based on their knowledge of the baby steps and finances in general. So what does it mean? What does it matter if it is? There's got to be an underlying reason. There's always a reason. I was just wondering off the top of my head, do you consider yourself financially literate? So we'll dive into that and see what dumb crap's going on there. Or if it's not dumb crap, I'll apologize. I don't have to apologize much, as you can imagine. Hypertho mortgage. I know Dave is for 15-year fixed rate mortgages. There shouldn't be any comma, and because you know what happens after the comma? I know Dave is for, I know Dave said, I know Dave's advice is whatever it is, in quotes, whatever the Ramsey advice is. And then there's a comma. Everything that comes up of after the comma is dumb ass bullcrap. And we'll read that tomorrow and see what that is. How do the Dave Ramsey faithful qualify for apartments? You do not need a freaking credit score for apartments. I mean, there may be one or two. Guess what? I have never run into one. And I have rented five apartments in the last 11, 12 years, something like that. Not a one of them. So, well, I mean, here's what you do. In any situation where they might run a credit check for something, you tell them in advance that you do not have a credit score. Credit score is not 0. It's indeterminable because you don't do debt. You don't play footsie with the banks. And I have not for probably going on 15 years now, I think, at least. Something like that. Anyway, so I've gotten 5 in the past 11 years. Yeah, I move around a lot, unfortunately. Most of it was just in the same city, closer to whatever work place I was going to at the time, and didn't change jobs a lot, but my the computer company I was working at changed locations 3 times. So that was 3 of them, and then there was another 2 after that. So yeah, you just tell them in advance that, and then guess what? I don't know about you, but unless you're just moving out of mommy and daddy's house, you have a track record of paying your rent, probably, or your mortgage payment. Maybe you had to move down and get an apartment, sell the house and get an apartment as part of the baby steps. And so maybe your credit takes a hit. You just say, my credit might be taking a hit because I'm not doing debt anymore, and so, but I can show you years of housing payments. And then it was never a problem. Imagine that. And this is a VU, this is a Vanguard S&P 500 index fund, and this is the Fidelity S&P 500 index fund, and they are the same freaking thing. So you're dumb for not just Googling this. People could just Google it and have the answer right away instead of asking on a forum. But people love it. People love the Reddit, I guess, and I do too, because of the content. New favorite saying: being debt free is the new rich. All right, works for me. Car accident, finance, or pay cash for a new vehicle. You always pay cash. You always pay cash. It shouldn't even be a question. Should we finance it? Should not ever be. You know, that's the same as I know Dave says blank, 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 but only dumbassery is going to come after that. Yeah, and I lost the kinder, but gentler Coach Steve Money there. I realized that. Many apologies for that. Let's talk about something better. There will be an after show tomorrow morning, Monday morning, the 14th, 11:05 a.m. right after the Ramsey show video is over. The one recorded Friday airs at 9 a.m. Eastern time on the YouTube, and that is the new time, but all 3 hours are back now for a short time. When it was at the old time in the afternoon, they did only 2 hours of it, while the third hour was exclusively on the app, but now all 3 hours are back. Anyway, so there is one tomorrow. For the rest of my plugs, I am a Ramsey Solution certified financial coach. And if you'd like to tell me if you'd like me to tell you how dumbass your ideas are, that you have in order to do something that's not the baby steps. And trust me, I have had clients that would not follow the baby steps to a T. And what I do is I help them as much as I can, and certainly tell them that following the baby steps to a T would be the best thing for them to do. But when they say they're not going to do that part, I say, okay, so, but this would still help you, and this would still help you, and this would still help. And I would also explain what dumbassery they're doing. I'm not going to call it dumbassery to their face, but the stuff they're doing that's not Ramsey stuff, I can tell them, okay, so you can do this and this and this, and that would make it better, but you're taking away some of the goodness from that by doing the thing that you will not cave in on. And totally submit to the baby steps. Anyway, if you'd like to schedule an assessment / appointment, counseling, financial counseling, that kind of thing, appointment with me, I'll remember the name of it eventually. You can do that by emailing me, coachstevemoney@gmail.com. And I used to use a website for that, but my schedule changes too much now. So just email me and we'll work it out, I promise. You can also email me, coachstevemoney@gmail.com, for any questions about financial matters, or financial coaching, or anything on my website. Donations, paypal.me/coachstevemoney, CashApp $, or Walmart gift card to that same email address, coachstevemoney@gmail.com. Upcoming streams, and that would be the Ramsey Show After Show, 11:05 a.m. Eastern Time. And I have the shows for all this coming week here. Monday and Wednesday, July 14th and 16th. And that's again 11:05 a.m. Eastern Time. And the Answering Your Financial Questions streams at 8 p.m. Eastern. There will be 2 of those, I believe. Yes, Tuesday and Thursday. And that would be July 15th and 17th. Alrighty. And I'll have to figure out, I can't remember. On Saturday, I don't think I can do one at all because I'm in like a mid shift. But Sunday is possible. No, I'm almost always off on Sunday, so I would be able to do it. And since there's no Ramsey show in the morning, what would happen would be a 8 p.m. stream. Alrighty, and again, like I said, new chronological order update for The Last of Us Part 2, and so I don't need much of an excuse to do another playthrough on YouTube for it. And so I will be doing that, and that might start tonight in a few short minutes. Got to have some dinner, and then I might start doing that. Just a bit. Do have to get up at 8:30 a.m. in the morning for the Ramsey show. So we'll see if I do. Alrighty, thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe, like, and comment. And as always, don't do dumb bullcrap. Make smart financial decisions every day.